Okay, guys, I gotta try and be really quiet because Irene is still sleeping and just trying to be nice. It's 5:40 in the morning, Saturday morning, so hopefully I'll be able to get this out really quick. Wasn't that fun? Lots of things to say, lots of things to unpack on this one. First up, congratulations to Gary Buxton, first place, Sean Carr, second place, and Mike Boudreau. Yeah, Boudreau. Mike Boudreau for third place. As that goes, Gary, I think Gary was running a Jason Egan saw. I don't know for sure. And if you built it, Gary, I'm so sorry. But whatever. I just want to give credit to the builders here. I'm pretty certain that Sean Carr built his own. And Mike Boudreau, that saw was built by Mastermind. Randy Evans, Mastermind out of Tennessee. Mike Boudreau's, well, they were all three clones. What am I thinking? I was about to say Mike's is a clone. Well, yeah, so are all the others too. But and I do know that Mike's chain was sharpened by John Riley. So Mike had a good combination going on there. Congratulations to everybody, right? But so first off, what we got to unpack is that Gary Buxton and Sean Carr's times were so close. Mike was about a second behind those guys. They were. Was he about a second? I don't know, but I ain't got time to look it up. So, Gary Buxton and Sean Carr both dipped into the 7-second range. That was absurd. That was nuts. Everybody there was thinking it too. It wasn't just me because I got beaten so badly. The first thing I thought whenever I saw Gary's touch the wood was, that's a race chain. That's like, no, it most definitely wasn't. I definitely went over and confirmed that for myself. That was a C83 that he got off of Steve McDowell right there in the moment because he had forgotten to bring one for it. So it was an out-of-the-box C83 chain. I believe Sean Carr was running that too. I know that Mike Boudreau was running that chain sharpened by John Riley, which was a Steel RS sharpened by John Riley. But anyways, so what I'm saying is the speeds of the top two guys were so ridiculously fast that everybody was thinking that they were cheating. I have no idea if they were. I'm not saying that they were. I'm just saying that was the talk that was going on. The first thing that I heard whenever I walked back towards my area to put up my saw and everything, I'd already put up my saw. So I'm just walking past and I hear someone go, I wonder how many people are masking 10% methanol with clots. That was the phrase that I heard as I'm walking back. I was just like thinking, I don't know. So now it very well could be that their builds were just that good. And a lot of times this happens with people who just can't explain away something. And those guys, they have secrets that they're not going to share with us, or maybe they will share. I don't know. All I'm saying is that's the way people talk, and that was happening because our minds were blown. We were like, because here I was, my time was 12 seconds, 12.377 seconds. And you telling me that they got down in the 7-second range? They're almost twice as fast as me. I was just like, what even is happening? But then here's the second thing to unpack, right? So, and that is no one broke 10 seconds unless they were in that log that Gary, Sean, and Mike were running in. All of your top finishers were in that log. And to give perspective, my time was 12.377. Dino Joe's time was 11.156. So he beat me by 1 second in the same log that I was running. Whereas the other guys beat me by like 4 or 5 seconds. So yeah. But now I gotta be very clear about this. Those guys did the best that they could with the wood that they had on hand. They knew it. They had to have known it. Everybody that was there was going, man, I hope I get that log, you know. And there's no hard feelings. We had fun. It was a race. We enjoyed ourselves. But the better way to look at this might be, you know, the winner on that log was Gary Buxton, and the winner on the other log, the one that I was cutting in, was Brennan Cass. So 2 different races were going on there, you know. And I mean, it'd be really interesting to see the same saw with the same chain go through this one and then go through that one and see the difference. Because one was just harder, and you could tell that they were trying to make it the same size, where they had shaved away and everything. It's just the way it goes sometimes, you know. You can't have perfect wood, and everybody understands that. No one was bitching or complaining. We're all glad to go and race and have fun. All right. Boy, I didn't smoke that much, and I haven't smoked since. But anyways, so yeah, maybe we should be looking at it as the winner of this log and the winner of that log. So the top 3 in the other log was Brennan Cass. Then right behind him was Smitty. Smitty was right behind him. And then right behind him, I believe then it goes to Dino Joe. So yeah, those logs were quite different. But again, I want to say that as much as possible. No harm. I mean, we're all just there to have fun, and it's fine. But it was like obvious, and everybody was saying it. It was like, you know, and then, you know, that sucks, but oh well, who cares? But did the 3 fastest saws win? Yeah, I think they probably did, especially because, especially the top 2 places. Gary Buxton was running a saw that was so hot, and same thing with Sean Carr. Those, yeah, I'm with Smitty. I'm not against it, but yeah, those aren't firewood saws. But you know, I mean, you have a set of rules, and you build as best as you can within those rules. It's a race, and you're not going to be able to stop stuff like this from happening. You're just not going to be able to. Everybody's going to push the limits whenever it comes to racing. That's just the way the game is played, and I like it. I'm going to be pushing mine harder and further and faster next year, and I'm sure most everybody will. And that's kind of the name of the game, trying to be as good as you can. I will say that do I think that anybody ran race gas this year? I don't know, maybe. I know some people did last year. I know they did. But the only way to get around that is to have a fuel dump, make the contestants dump their fuel, and supply them with the fuel that you want them to run. That's that's the only way around it. And I would be down for that, you know. I mean, absolutely make each contestant pay $5. to enter, you know, and that'll cover all your fuel costs, you know, because I didn't run no gallon of fuel, you know. I guess if you ran that stuff that you guys like getting that stuff from, where is it? I guess it's Rural King. It's a little bit more than $5 a gallon, that stuff is. But anyways, so if you didn't pick up what I was doing with the Gary Buxton versus Sean Carr, well, it's very natural. Sean Carr had a blunder. He had a fumble. And, of course, he's going to be thinking, man, if I hadn't fumbled, I would have won the race. And, well, I took his fumble out. And he did win the race. But barely. My gosh, it was close. However, he had a much faster reaction time. You know, if you take the fumble out, you know, he was moving a lot faster than Gary. And he got to the wood first. So then I went and I put them both in the wood at exactly the same time. And what saw was the fastest. Not necessarily the Sawyer, what saw was the fastest. Gary Buxton had the faster saw. Minuscule, you know. But, you know, it's really cool what we can do with editing. And I hope you guys like it, that I break it down like that and stuff. Sometimes, not always. But that was really cool to see, because I know that Sean would have been like, man, if I hadn't have fumbled, I would have won that race. I would have been doing it too. You know what I mean? Well, here's the answer. You're right. If you hadn't fumbled, you would have won that race, but not because you had the faster saw. Gary still had the faster saw, right? You would have won that race because you had a really good reaction time. You were moving really quick. That's how close it is. My gosh. My reaction time cost me. I looked at my reaction time versus Brennan Cass's reaction time. And I hit the wood at 2 seconds flat. So it took me 2 seconds once the horn sounded for me to grab my saw and actually start cutting wood. Because I had a little bit of a fumble right there. Right? Brennan was 1.6. So that's 40 thousandths of a second. Actually, no. Yeah, it's 40 thousandths, I guess. 4/10 of a second. 41/100ths of a second. Yeah. Anyways, 4/10 of a second that I lost. So my time should have been into the 11-second range, just barely. But I lost it because of that little fumble that I had. And it's good to sit here and mess around and play with that and stuff and see what was what. But this is why I didn't place better in the Clone Wars. Ultimately, I got 9th place in the Clone Wars because I did really well in the 372. I got 3rd place. So that 3rd place, and then I didn't even get top 10 in the 660 Clone Wars, which is crazy, considering how much better that saw runs than factory. I mean, I went from like a 36-second cut all the way down to low 14s, high 13-second cut. So I really improved the shit out of that saw. And whenever I was seeing all these people blow me away, I was like, oh, man. Anyways, I guess I've rambled enough. I hope you guys liked the video. And next up, I got to call John Cox. So I might save the wild thing for a little bit later. The next up is going to be the 55cc class.